I'm on the Doolin Ferry, and today I'm off to the Aran Islands, in particularly Inishmore, the largest of the 3 Aran Islands. My goal is to find the Serpents Lair, also known as the Wormhole. It's a geographical feature on Inishmore that looks man-made. I can't wait to get there. The ferry costs about €40 and takes about 35 minutes. As we set off, you could see the cliffs of Moher in the background. In my previous video, I got up close and personal with the cliffs of Moher. Check that video out if you haven't already seen it. As expected, it was really windy on the boat and it was quite busy, so most of this is having to be done as a voiceover. I did mention the bPéist shipwreck from Father Ted in the previous video. It's still very, very small in this, but it's in the middle of those rocks there. It's been there for quite a few years, rusting away. You can visit the other 2 Aran Islands. We stopped off at one of them on the way there and on the way back. I think next time I visit, I'll go to the bPéist shipwreck on Inishmore, I believe. And that's it there, with some old buildings up on the hills, maybe a fort, maybe a church. Well worth exploring on another visit. It always makes me wonder how people cope living on these remote islands. Today, during the summer, there's plenty of visits from boats and tourism, but then there's the quite harsh winters. This is the wild Atlantic way. I'd like to do an overnight, I think, and camp, come back on the next day's ferry. That could be quite an exciting adventure. This is all part of the landscape that makes up the Burren on the mainland. Really, really rugged. How anything grows here is beyond me. It's quite tough walking across this landscape. One slip and you could break your ankle. But it's well worth it when you get your first glimpse. Just look at that. How is that not man-made? How is that natural? Sadly, I won't have time to climb down towards it to have a better look. I certainly wouldn't be jumping in, that'd be very foolish. And it's not welcomed by the islanders. The islanders I spoke to said there's been some miraculous escapes, but also plenty of helicopter from the mainland coming in. It also ties up the island doctor on an emergency call getting across this tough land. It's not really fair on them, and they don't promote it anymore once you're there. Finding somewhere up here just to shelter a little bit and camp overnight would be amazing. Seeing the high tide and the low tide and the difference it makes, because there is a sea tunnel into that, so the water comes in from underneath, creating a swell inside. As well, when the seas are high, it comes crashing over the top. I'll show you some footage from another YouTuber's video, and I'll put a link to their original video in the description. Now, miraculously, according to the other video, the woman survived this. Now, when I got off the ferry, I was approached by a local guy with a minibus that runs tours over the island. I asked him about this place and he didn't recommend it. He said he'd drop me off and I could find my own way there, but it's tough going, it's not signposted, and again, he just didn't recommend it. However, he was kind enough to give me a couple of pointers of where to go. So I took the path up to the main fort where all the other passengers on the bus were going, except at a gate. I jumped the gate and then walked through this landscape. Absolutely incredible. The Wormhole, the Serpents Lair down there. Love to spend a few hours here, watching from low to high tide. And what I've just noticed is where I was standing before looking down. That's all eroded underneath.
Nature is incredible. Look at these plants just thrive. This is right on the edge of the Atlantic Ocean. Right on the cliffs. Into the cliffs.
As this stop-off was only 90 minutes for the other passengers to visit the fort at the top of the hill, I had a very quick turnaround here, which was a real shame. It took me half an hour to travel the half a mile here. That's quite a long time, but it's tough going terrain to walk across, and the last thing you want to do is have an accident out here, especially as I had the whole place to myself. When I got back to the port, the shopkeeper told me of how dangerous it was out here. He told me of a couple of lads swimming in the hole, and one of them was sucked out through the tunnel out into the open sea, and all he suffered was a few cuts and scrapes, where other people have had severe lacerations and had to be helicoptered off to the mainland to hospital. The World Red Bull Diving Championships were here a few years ago, and that brought popularity to the place, and the islanders clearly don't like it. On the local maps on the island, this place is not even featured anymore, whereas on the ferry guides and in the guidebooks, it's prominent on the map. I believe in that direction in South America, southwest of here.
Absolutely incredible. I'm so happy I've found my way here today. I almost gave up on coming, and I thought, when am I going to be on Inishmore again? When am I going to get the opportunity to come and see this wonder of, absolute wonder of the world? Incredible. Yeah, it looks carved by human.
It was now time to cross back over the rocks and find the path down to where the tour bus was and meet up with the fellow passengers. It does look as if it's much easier to come in from that direction if I ever did come back. I can only imagine the number of hours spent over the centuries building and rebuilding all these stone walls. There are literally thousands of these walls on this island.
Okay, there's a bay that way. Now I've got to head back this way. Yeah, I'm out of breath. And up there's the fort. Somewhere over there was a gate. I climbed over. Can't get through these walls. Gap there. That's the bay. See, I was over the back there. You have to make sure that you take the easiest route. Right close to the end here. Right, I'm through and I can start tracking back.
I made it back with plenty of time to spare. Most of the other tour buses had turned up and everybody was in the bars and the cafes, and it was quite busy. The driver gave us an excellent tour and running commentary from the bus. He answered lots of questions, gave lots of insights, and took us to lots of different places on the island. That has to be one of the remotest football pitches in Ireland, in the world. I know there's lots and lots of places. From the bus window, I recorded this footage of the barren terrain. This is what I had to walk across. The reason I didn't film as I was walking across it earlier to the Wormhole is it's just too dangerous. If you're not paying attention to every footing, your foot will go down between the rocks that stick up and jut out all different angles. Where there's grass, it looks like it's firm to put your foot down, and it'll be a huge gap. We were able to stop further down here and have a look. There's a couple more little parts of the islands off Inishmore. Back in the main port, I had a time to kill before the ferry came, so I sat down, had a drink and something to eat. Just did a quick bit of filming. Not sure if any of those were our ferries, can't really remember. There's the tour buses, all back nice and prompt for the ferry going back. It'll be the last ferry of the day back to the mainland. Don't want to miss that. This was quite funny. A delivery of Aran Island sweaters. Must have come off the boat and they're unboxing them. Not the other way round, as I'd assume it would be. Are they imported from Vietnam these days?
I have had a brilliant day on the Isle of Inishmore, the largest of the Aran Islands. Absolutely fantastic.
This would be the end of my road trip for 2022. But I would be back again for a little while in 2023, and I plan on being back again in 2024.